Welcome to Recouped the podcast, where we uncover the depths of sustainability and its impact on the world.
We're your hosts, Vicky
and Michelle.
And together we'll explore what it means to live more sustainably.
All right, Vicky.
Yeah?
I have a question for you.
What?
What color is your thumb? Right answers only.
Green!
Good. You got it right.
Wait, I heard...
Mine is a little bluish green. I don't know.
We heard this joke. I heard this joke about a green thumb joke. It was a dad joke.
Oh, no.
I think Tracy told us this joke.
Yeah, it was
It was a funny joke. Say the joke, Tracy.
So, is that the flower and garden show? And the guy was like, "Whoa, you grew these?" As in, like, my tulips. He was like, "Whoa, you grew these? Let me see your thumbs." And I was like,
Oh, no. That is a bad joke.
Okay, and Tracy just did like a thumb, like 2 thumbs up,
yeah.
okay?
And he was like, "Oh my God, they're so green."
Oh, man, did I just make a dad joke? Yeah, that's good. That's good. You guys have very green thumbs.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I try really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I try with the garden.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a green thumb too
Yeah,
at
I do.
Chelan.
Yeah.
You have a natural,
Yeah, I like to
rusticy.
forage.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. We can all be green thumb ladies.
Yes. And there is tips. I mean, you can have a green thumb and, grow your own food. You can have a green thumb and grow pollinating gardens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Rain barrels, all this sort of things to be sustainable in your garden and life.
yeah.
And we're going to go over some gardening.
Yeah. Like, I like to
Food
grow
garden.
a lot of food garden,
Yeah.
plants. We love it all. Have you started growing any foods in Chelan?
Well, like naturally, there's wild blueberries there that I really love, and I hope that they just keep
Remember
spreading
when
and
we
spreading.
squished them and you told me, like, Vicky, put on a mask. I have a mask for you. And
I
then-
make face masks every time I'm there.
But you should look at how rustic these masks are. It just looks like...
Like poop.
It looks like, I don't know, Asher, who's 3, squished him up and put berries and rose petals and creek water and says, "Here."
Well, to be exact, a recipe for one of those face masks would have dog rose, calendula, yarrow, wild blueberries, milkweed, and arrowleaf balsam root. Wow. Those are all things that grow native there. They're drought resistant and they're medicinal.
That's great.
Those are my favorite types.
So we put all the medicinal, healthy
And
stuff.
then you're like, oh shit, my face looks good.
Yeah, we were like so firm and tight camping in our grungy, wild camping, not brushed hair. But our faces were like...
Oh, and this is another one too, because we
What?
polar plunge when we're there. So we're just
We
living
did.
a whole life of extravagant
we were
luxury.
We're like other people.
Yeah.
We're like other people.
And you guys think glamping includes having a running toilet? It doesn't.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to.
But we also, one of our projects that we did in Chelan was build with nothing.
Yeah.
A garden.
Yeah.
A whole bed.
So cool.
It started with like collecting all the soil, the compost,
Yes.
the
And then the long branches
like,
that were
not
flexible.
even branches. These are
They were
like trees. Yeah.
You know what? Actually, y'all, if you look at our Recouped Instagram, scroll all the way back to a Functional Friday. There's a picture of me with a log carrier with all these big-ass branches and logs that I carried across the
From all over the
creek.
property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you can get an idea of
And there's
what
11
type of
acres, to be
material
exact,
that
yeah.
we were using. Yeah. But that was really fun because then we used the cobblestone or the stone that was on the
In the river.
riverbed, and we used the natural.
So not only
beautifully
is it just like
composted-
a garden, we were like, this is a cottage garden of our dreams.
Oh, it was.
You know? Just for
It
fun.
was beautiful. It was really fun. And then we threw some of the natural native flowers, seeds that you had, and then we did some, was it tomatillos and lavender and chives.
We did
brought
put
a
some
bunch of tomato
tomatoes.
plants,
Yeah,
but we
because you
don't-
had so many.
I did.
Vicky's a tomato lady.
I am.
And since we don't have access to Chelan every single day, we were just doing this as kind of an experiment. No
Yeah, it was
high
like kind of like
expectations.
our F around and find out.
Yeah, if anything, we're like, whatever native flowers grow in here can be pretty if the food doesn't work out or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
Let's
we'll
just
just see.
Yeah.
And we came back like the next season, because I maintained it a little bit when I went back a few times. I was like, oh, it's growing,
Yeah.
everything looks good. It was self-sufficient essentially. And then the next season we came back and I was like, oh yeah, this shit did turn out good, because I could see the shells of the tomatillas, and I could see, you know, the lavender had doubled in size. Everything else, the remnants of this garden was there.
Yeah. Oh,
so
I love it.
hopefully they reseeded themselves and they're growing right now while we speak, and we'll have
then
some
we'll go
food.
back to yeah, I know, that'd be wonderful. But until then, I will grow us a garden.
Yes.
And
It's the time. It's spring.
it is the time. I know, it's my favorite thing to do at home. It's my pastime. I will grow us all the tomatoes. Like just the other day, Tracy asked, how many tomato plants do you need? And my exact quote,
643.
higher. I just said 5 million.
Vicky has 643.
I mean close. Maybe like closer to 30, but
5 million might be pushing it, but 643
43 is the number.
They line all of the fence and all around the house and all
but
up and down and all around.
I know, but I love it because I get to
loves
share. That's my the biggest joy about gardening for me, is being able to share.
She has enough tomatoes to make soup all year round.
It's true.
Tomato soup.
Is it good?
Tomato and carrot.
Tomato and carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to make it healthy.
So
for
that's
health.
a good tip. Become a master at tomatoes. So you
Yes.
can make just soup.
Make soup. And the other thing, though, here's another secret, is that if your tomatoes have not ripened by the end of the season, take them off of the plant and let it air dry, like the stems and stuff, and then wrap it in newspaper. So that's how I was able to give you tomato soup into the fall and into the winter, is because then they start to ripen inside of the paper bag. Now, they're not sweet and delicious and juicy like sun-ripened tomatoes, but they work perfect for soups and sauces.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's how I
you can
ended
add
up
whatever you need to make
just
the difference.
Yeah, add some pizzazz. So that was one of my things.
So speaking of like that, 'cause
Yeah.
then like planning, if somebody else was to plan their little garden, they're going to just start turning their green
turn on their green thumb.
or their thumb green, and they just don't even know how to go about it, what to do, where to start. Saving the money, doing the things, all the stuff. So there are some like tips that we could do, like with your tomato thing that you just said, that would go and coincide with like saving a nice little space for yourself, like getting that started in advance. You can use your reusable pots. Keep seed storage there, your tomatoes, your root cellar storage, or whatever. You know, just make that little space. If you're limited on space, you know, find some alternatives, a community garden, but we'll go over
we'll go into that too. But so for anybody that has the desire to grow their own food, you start small. If you've never done it before, if you don't have the space, if you're not really 100% sure and you're not really confident, start small, right? So like container gardening. If it's on your patio, if it's on your deck, if you don't have a lot of space, that's a really good choice. If you can create a raised bed, that's wonderful too. If you can't, and you can actually grow straight into the soil, and you could do so many different methods of just growing straight in the soil, and just maybe like give yourself like, I don't know, a little 2x2, a 2x4 space. That's great too, because you have to consider your family and how many people you want to grow for, you know.
And like produce that would be conducive to space would be like vining things, you know.
You so grow up. That's correct. Or doing things that that you can grow together. It meaning like fast growing and slow growing things. So radishes grow really fast. And then you can grow maybe lettuce next to a radish, or carrots next to a radish. And there's all these things that you can look up. But those are some things to consider. And so like if you wanted to be cost effective, you can just start by like, I don't know, taking your green onion ends from when you get them from the grocery store.
And regrowing them.
You can grow them in the cup in your window and just put a little water. Or if you have space to put it in soil, just put those bad boys in soil, and you will be so surprised within even a few days. You don't even need root hormone. You could just...
And I have done it without, but when I do it with...
It's like,
oh, man.
Bam. Yeah,
it
does
very
like
satisfying.
a lot of stuff. Like for you, when you get your plants and your seeds and stuff like that, what do you like to do? I like to go to my favorite nursery called Sunnyside Nursery.
Yeah, I love Sunnyside.
Which they have really great stuff. And I'm such a money saver. They have a reward system. So like, you know, when you buy it, collects points, and then when you buy a
And
lot,
you can get free
money back.
pots from there too.
You can?
The plastic pots.
Oh yeah, the recycled. Mhm.
Yeah. Which,
Actually, I
you know,
forgot
we
about
would
that.
always recommend reusing them.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
your
Just keep them from season to
plastic pots.
season. Rinse them out.
And they don't
or
need to
put
be
'em in-
beautiful pots.
No, but we found some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. But yeah, so I guess getting started, finding local nurseries that provide it. Go to your farmers markets. They
The
provide
farmers markets are great. And that would be a
your
great
seed starters.
source of information right there. The
Yeah.
farmer directly selling you their plant that they just grew as a newborn little baby plant, and they're already invested in it, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you how to take care of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they'll
what
tell you everything that you need.
Yeah.
And another thing that I would recommend too is like if you're buying seeds, granted you can get seeds everywhere, and they're most 99% of the time are gonna work for you. But if you get lucky enough to find companies and farms that are local that actually sell their seeds, you get it feels great to
It's
know
a
that
double
you're
whammy.
It
You're
is
supporting this. Yeah.
and then you know you're
supporting
getting
that.
an
Yeah.
item that's going to work for our
Yes.
zone, our
You
growing
do have
zone.
a brand of seeds that you really like, huh?
Yes, it's called Uprising Seeds.
Yeah, I was gonna
Seeds
say that's-
Uprising. They're a company that has everything from flowers to zucchini seeds. And I've used them, and I actually
And they're hardy.
yeah, they're good.
So-
and I've been successful with them. And if you're nervous about starting from seed, this is my secret, and I've been gardening for years. If you want to start from seed, like lettuce, go ahead, do a bunch of them. And then just for success, go buy yourself some starters. They're inexpensive and you can get a lot. And they're one of the cut and grow again, or lettuce is cut and grow again, meaning you can harvest your leaves from it and more leaves are going to grow, and you can just keep harvesting from it throughout the spring and summer.
And you have your backup.
Yeah, and that's your backup if
Should
the
your babies
seeds-
not
Yeah,
grow.
they don't grow. And then so that would be my little like beginner tip.
Yeah, and then like for me, I would be trying to choose things that would be, a little bit more drought resistant and hardy.
Yeah.
Or like fruit trees are great.
I love.
Yeah. Like potatoes, things that grow in my compost bin.
Yes.
I throw a bunch of strawberries out there because my kids love strawberries, and I get some strawberry plants.
Yeah. Or like one time I was like, what is this in my compost? It's so big and looking good. So I just grabbed it and I stuck it in the soil. And then at the end of the season, I ended up with the most beautiful spaghetti squash plant. And it was like 8 pounds.
Wow.
I know, it
That's
was
a good
really
baby.
big. It was the best surprise baby
Yeah.
we ever could have asked for.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Happy
so
accident.
good. I love, that's one of my most favorite things about gardening is like, ooh, let's see what's in the compost, what's growing. Because most likely it's something.
Same year.
Yeah.
Potatoes for me.
Yeah, no, and then they grow. Remember you had this giant tomato plant growing out of your
Yes.
compost bin?
Oh my gosh, it was the most magical thing ever because it was growing out of I have an enclosed, so there is no ground underneath. It is like worm castings, like compost bin. But it was growing out of this tiny little like
the crack.
half an inch crack.
Yeah.
And it was monstrous.
It was robust. It was so
Huge.
beautiful.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the coolest.
And then it just didn't make it because it started cutting itself off. And I was like, I don't think I want to cut my compost bin to make this tomato survive. But I was really tempted to just destroy my whole thing. Yeah.
I know. It was really beautiful. It was really good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
One of my tips would also be because you know how it is, summer.
Yeah.
We only have so many weekends, right? Until summer's over.
Yes, correct.
Those gardening weekends, they come and they go really, really quick, and you're like, I didn't get out. But maybe start planning ahead. So like in the fall, you can do some prep, like putting your garlic cloves down, putting the mulch to protect it from frost.
Yeah.
And then they'll start sprouting up and you're like, oh shit, I didn't really have to do anything in the spring or anything. You know,
Ta-da! Yeah,
getting some garlic.
No, that's like set it and forget it type of plants are my favorite too. So thinking about like your perennial herbs. Everybody has them. Thyme, mint. Mint can be weed-like, so please be very thoughtful.
which is also satisfying because like you're going mint and you're like, wow, I have a lot of mint.
I have a lot of mint, but sometimes it
Mojitos,
can overtake.
woohoo!
It can overtake your stuff if you don't want it to. But yeah, like those for me, I really like chives. I love my chives. You know,
and you
what I mean?
have
Because
so many seeds.
I do, and then we sprinkle.
That's
them.
another thing that I like. I like growing things that produce a lot of seeds.
Yeah, because it's just like more. It's
Yeah.
bounty, right? It's
Yeah.
abundant.
Yeah, but if you're just starting and you don't have space, there are other options.
Yeah, there are other options. So like you had mentioned community gardens or like the pea patches, community pea patches.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to garden for yourself, those things are only $20 to $50 a year.
And it's cooperative.
Yeah, so sometimes you just pay the fee. Sometimes you have to be part of running and managing it. Like my sister in New York, she has to like do a weekly turning of the compost or watering a certain area that's just a community area and stuff like that. Or
I like
sure
to
that the rain
go and
barrel
just
is-
see how they're running. Sometimes I like to go to the ones that are close to us and
You know which?
wow, this is cool. Look
You
at
know
everybody.
which one I love? It's in Marysville, Jennings Park. They
Yeah,
have
Jennings
a pea
Park has
patch
a
in
great
there.
one.
Not only is it beautiful, and that's where I got some of my inspiration for some of my plants that I like because I love unique tomatoes, like Black Beauty tomatoes, my favorite. But I saw one of those there, and that's where I was like, "It's over."
Yeah,
I'm
I love
on
the
a
Jennings
mission for
Park
those.
community.
But did you know that that is not like it is a volunteer based, and they actually donate all of that. The
the food
vegetables
bank?
to the food bank, the local community food
that's so
bank.
nice.
And I remember asking them, and I remember being like, oh, this is my
You
dream.
guys are heroes. Yeah.
Like when,
Yeah. I need to take you to the one that's on Casino Road by that park. I forgot what it's called. It's close to our house, but it just, you turn a little corner behind some trees and you're like, what?
oh, okay.
What? And it's surrounded by like apartment blocks. This is like a low income neighborhood. But this garden was
It's like
beautiful
luscious
last
and
year. I spent
beautiful.
probably an hour walking around.
Oh, that's
it
lovely.
was prolific with
I love that.
goods. And there's people there,
Yeah.
you know,
working and doing their thing. I think, yeah. Pea
But
patches.
these apartment people that are like, I need to get my hands in the dirt.
Well, because I mean,
Yeah.
that's still in your blood, like something you want to do. Yeah. So
And you might be surprised if you don't know if you have one. Like if you search for community gardens, like there might be one just right down the street from
they
you.
are, and they just kind of pop up in different
Yeah.
places, and you can be a part of it, and you can grow food for your family there, or you can donate the food if that's what you want to do. But with that being said, some other ideas though, because we're talking about how like, oh, extend your gardening season, so go into fall and have your garden. Like another thing, because once you get gardening, you're really gonna love what you're doing. I hope, and you're gonna be like, I want to go bigger. Where else? Well, that's why I have a whole fence full of tomatoes, is because I wanted to go bigger and I didn't actually have the land for it. So it's, but another thing I was thinking about, like, well, how can you extend your gardening, right? I'm thinking about also extending the gardening time, your growth, right? So doing succession planting of, let's say, your lettuce, you don't put all your seeds right now. Maybe do a third of your seeds right now, and the next third, I don't know, a month from now, and then another, the last bit a month later, or whatever, whenever, it doesn't get too hot. So then you have your whole entire growing season has been extended.
And you don't have so much lettuce that your family is like, please stop.
Yeah,
making
I
us
can't have
be
any
a-
more
a
salads
horse.
and
Yeah.
wraps and
Yeah.
And so like I think something like that is something to think about, is because you still have that same footprint and you can still prepare, but when you're done growing your lettuce, you can grow your fall and winter crops, like your Brussels sprouts and your cauliflower and your broccoli and your bok choy and your, the Napa cabbage and different things like that. Those grow really well, or even spinach.
Yeah,
People don't remember spinach is not a summer crop.
Yeah.
They will bolt and you'll be very sad, and all you got literally was maybe 2 leaves.
And flowers, yeah. So yeah, because that would be a smart tip. Research
Yeah.
before to see what is seasonal, because like I know a lot of people are like, I just want to grow cantaloupe. I just want to grow cantaloupe and watermelon and corn.
Yeah.
Like-
and you're going to have to wait forever.
Yeah,
And that's,
yeah.
you're going to have to wait forever. But yeah, no, you're right. Look at what's is seasonal.
Because when you go to the store to get like seeds, and you're just like, oh, broccoli, peppers, this, that, this, like it just looks, it's like so misleading. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna just buy these and go put them in the ground and see what happens. But there are, little regulations to the season that you should probably follow.
Yeah. To get the best success.
Yeah.
But you know what I really love? I love doing this every year. When I go to the grocery store, I don't know, hopefully it's not me being superior to anybody, but in my body, I love going to the grocery store and being like, oh, I don't need zucchini because I'm growing that. I don't need green onion because I'm growing that. I really, I love that feeling of knowing I've made a dent in my grocery bill.
Yeah.
Because I have the lettuce that I need and the green onions and all, I have it. Or, oh, I can just harvest it in the morning. Or, I love that. Or I love...
it could be something that's like now you need to make sure you cook something healthy. You're getting your
Correct, because you don't. I don't want to
nutrients.
waste it.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, oh, these, the green beans.
Yeah.
I need to pick them because they're starting to get to that place where they might get a little. Where I harvest them for seeds. I'm like, no, I want to eat these, so you have to consider it. But I also, not only do I love being able to be like, ooh, I can save on my grocery bill. I do love to share. Like, one of my core memories, is when Weston came over.
Yeah.
When he was little. When Weston came over and he's like, my mom needs some herbs. Can I pick some? And I was like, of course you can. So
And
that
we
was
mean
like
kitchen herbs, not the other type of herbs.
yeah, just regular thyme and rosemary. Just a little mint. But that was really fun to have. Like, I love those experiences too. I think that's another reason why I love gardening is being able to share my abundance with my neighbors and my friends. And then also giving these kids, because I mean, kids generally love
with
to
a little
pick.
basket. He's like, I
need some this, I need some that, and I just remember
and I'm
that
like,
being
this
so
is gonna
sweet.
make Vicky's day.
It does make my day. I'm like, okay, whatever you need, I
Yeah.
got it for you. Or like one time you're like, can you zhuzh up this? It was like a pasta
was a
salad or
charcuterie board or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I have all these edible flowers, and I was like, yeah, let me do
I just
this.
need a final touch. Some of Vicky's.
Yeah, and that
herbs.
was, I love being able to provide that too. Which is.
Yeah, because that is part of the satisfaction.
Yeah.
Of having something that you worked for is sharing it.
Yeah, that's my love language is to share. And
Unless it tastes like crap. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I'm gonna still give it to you.
Yeah.
Just joking, just like the
And
cinnamon
don't let
rolls.
her know. Yeah.
Like those dry ass cinnamon rolls. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to provide you with dry ass cinnamon roll recipe, but I will tell you about a few things. Like, what's an easy thing that you like to grow?
Well, I always used to love growing at my old house. I grew a lot of raspberries. I had different varieties. Then my favorite part was giving the baby raspberry bushes to people that grew. So like things that almost grow like a weed.
That's true,
like
actually.
raspberries, blueberries if you get good blueberry plants.
Make sure to get 2 when you get blueberry plants. You need 2 of them.
An apple tree. I had a good apple tree. Those sort of things that I always had enough to make a pie and
that's good because like some of them those are kind of set it and forget it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I would recommend lettuce. I always say lettuce, but because I just eat it a lot. But it's relatively easy to grow. Yes, there are bugs and
whatever makes
caterpillars
the
and
biggest dent in your
and that's what I would recommend. Something easy
diet.
to grow that will make a dent. So if it's lettuce, if it's tomatoes are relatively okay. Like you just have to make sure they're watered and get lots of sun. And then some set it and forget it. So like potatoes.
Yeah.
And
chives
and all the perennial herbs and different things like that. I definitely recommend as well.
An herb garden is great.
All year because you can dry it.
If you have a little balcony apartment, apartment balcony, I should say.
Yeah.
Just like pots of herbs and, flowering trees.
Yeah. You know what? Another thing, just another tip about like food security as far as like you're growing this garden to make a dent in your grocery bill. The other thing to consider is what are you growing that you can store for future? So putting your potatoes in your garage, or
making
putting
that space,
or putting the onions in there, just giving yourself a little bit of space so then you can use it throughout the year. Or like I had mentioned,
safely storing it so it's not going to rot.
That's not
that
going
would
to rot.
be so disheartening.
And then or canning or pickling or dehydrating.
Yeah, preserving
that so that you can use it throughout the year too.
Freezing,
and that
all
will help.
Those things.
Yeah, so that will I do want to recommend trying to do that the best that you can.
And if you grow
that will help too.
If you grow like an overabundance of something, so your tomatoes.
Yeah.
So Vicky has 6 million tomatoes,
which I do,
all in one go, and she's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah.
Like freeze them.
Yeah. Can them. Make sauce out of them.
Yes, prepare them in advance and then freeze it.
Yeah.
Then you're like, what am I going to have for dinner? And you have frozen sauce in your
it's ready to go. Just thought and put it all together.
And that's part of sustainability is, here we go with Coach Michelle. Like, prepare yourself for later. Success.
Yes, for the future self, right?
So if you have dinner already ready in the future, then you're living life.
Yeah. So in this case, the lesson learned is gardening can help you save money on your grocery bill. Yeah. It's good for your soul, your mind, and your body, grounding yourself while you're out there in the world. And they could help your community access food if you're donating or if you're supporting different.
And you're just providing part of like the agriculture. You're treating your soil good. You're nourishing the soil.
Yeah.
The land that you occupy should be nourished.
Yeah. Yeah. You're taking care of your home in a way.
For the next generation.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep bringing you my million tomatoes.
Okay. My favorite part of gardening is when Vicky brings me plant food.
Because when I do the gardening for
I'm
you.
actually so spoiled because neighbors on both sides of me are just like giving me their garden vegetables over the fence. I'm like, oh, thank you. I
Like,
can give them eggs and some cooked food in return. But.
Yeah, it's lovely. Well, get your gardening on, people. Don't be scared. It's doable. It's easy. Start small. Practice. Make it attainable for yourself. Let us know how you do. Send us pictures of your garden once it starts to bloom and to flourish. And truly, thank you. Thank you for listening to Recoup today. We're so excited to talk to you about gardening, and hopefully you want to listen to more. I'm Vicky.
And I'm Michelle.
And if you want to hear more tips about how to live more sustainable lifestyle, be sure to buy us a coffee so we can keep our show going. You can find a link to our tip jar in the show notes.
And also, if you like what you're hearing, go ahead and give us a review.
Like
an honest
stars.
review. An honest 5-star review.
Or you can
really
give us a review like a mom gives us.
Yeah.
You know, moms.
Good job. Yeah.
If you'd like to learn more about our business and how we make our bags, check us out online at www.recoupeddpnw.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at recoupeddpnw.
And everything here that we mentioned today will be linked down below. So if you want to do some more digging yourself, you can check that out. And yeah, thanks for joining us. Don't forget
to reduce,
reuse,
and recoup. All right, till next time. Okay, love you. Bye.